When the Intergalactic Peace Corps initiated their plan to integrate Earth soldiers into their ranks, they expected little more than a cursory exchange. Humanity, after all, was a relatively new addition to the galactic community. A young, ambitious species whose understanding of war and strategy was as untested in the galaxy as their physical endurance in extreme conditions. The galaxy's elite warriors from species accustomed to high-gravity worlds had been trained in conditions that Earth's gravity simply could not replicate. And so humanity's soldiers were met with politeness and skepticism, their worth untested, and their skills yet unproven. The Peace Corps organized their initial training exercises on Fralum, a desert planet notorious for its harsh, unyielding gravity fields that averaged nearly twice that of Earth. Fralum was where most new recruits' weaknesses were exposed, where any lack of endurance or mental fortitude was laid bare in the grueling conditions. It was here that the Peace Corps intended to introduce humanity to the rigors of galactic warfare, confident that Earth soldiers would struggle, and perhaps even fail. When the human soldiers disembarked on Fralum, they were greeted by a crowd of alien recruits and instructors. Earth soldiers were a diverse bunch, some tall and lean, others compact and muscular, each one radiating a mix of excitement and tension as they adjusted to the intense pull of the planet's gravity.
Captain Mira,
a seasoned leader with piercing eyes and a calm, unwavering demeanor, led her squad, her expression betraying nothing of the challenges that lay ahead. As the instructors gathered the recruits for their first exercise, a murmured disbelief rippled through the alien ranks. They couldn't fathom how the humans, who had grown up under comparatively mild gravitational conditions, would endure what lay ahead. The instructors issued the first directive, a march across the vast Fralum Desert, a trek of nearly 10 miles under a relentless sun. With each recruit carrying a full pack and weighted equipment, the humans adjusted their gear, exchanging determined glances as they prepared to begin. Captain Mira, at the head of her squad, took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her pack and the gravity's pull. She knew this exercise would test her team's endurance and spirit, but she also knew they were capable of more than the Peace Corps realized. As the march began, the humans' steps were heavy, their movements labored under the intense gravitational force. They felt the strain immediately, their muscles protesting, their breathing shallow and rapid. But as they moved forward, something remarkable happened. While the alien recruits maintained a steady pace, accustomed as they were to high-gravity worlds, the humans adapted with surprising speed. They adjusted their strides, found their rhythm, and began to move with a determination that caught the attention of the alien instructors. Captain Mira led her team with unyielding focus, her eyes fixed on the horizon, her steps steady and measured. The weight was crushing. Every step felt like an ordeal, yet she pressed on, her voice calm and encouraging as she rallied her squad. "We're Earth soldiers," she reminded them, her tone fierce. "We've carried weight before. Maybe not this intense, but we've carried it. Remember your training. Trust in it." The Peace Corps instructors observed, their expressions shifting from skepticism to curiosity as they watched the humans push through the desert. Unlike the alien recruits, who moved with the confidence of experience, the humans moved with a determination that was raw, unyielding, a refusal to back down even as their bodies strained under the relentless gravity. By the halfway mark, some of the alien recruits had begun to slow, their movements faltering under the weight and heat. But the humans, though visibly exhausted, showed no signs of quitting. Their eyes burned with resolve, their bodies pushing forward, driven by an inner strength that defied the oppressive conditions. One of the instructors, a hulking being named Jir Khan, approached Captain Mira as she reached the 3/4 mark. "Your species, you were not trained in this gravity," he remarked, his tone tinged with awe. "How do you endure?" Mira's lips quirked into a smile, her voice steady despite the strain in her muscles. "We're used to gravity in ways that go beyond training. We carry the weight of our world every day. This is just a bit more." As they neared the end of the march, the humans were drenched in sweat, their faces etched with exhaustion, yet they continued, shoulders squared, eyes fixed ahead. The instructors, once dismissive, were now watching in silence, unable to ignore the resilience before them. Earth's gravity had forged these soldiers in ways that went beyond mere physical strength. It had imbued them with a mental toughness, a refusal to give up even when the odds seemed insurmountable. By the time they reached the end, the humans stood tall, exhausted but triumphant. They had defied expectations, proven themselves not only capable but formidable, their spirits unbroken. The Peace Corps instructors exchanged uneasy glances, realizing that humanity was far more than they had anticipated. In the span of a single march, Earth soldiers had gone from untested recruits to respected warriors, their endurance and resilience etched into the memories of everyone present. Following the grueling march, word of the humans' resilience spread quickly through the ranks of the Peace Corps. The alien recruits, who had initially watched Earth soldiers with polite dismissal, now exchanged whispers, curiosity piqued by the humans' endurance. The commanders, who had expected humanity's recruits to falter, couldn't ignore the determination and physical adaptability they'd witnessed. And so, they devised the next test, a strength and endurance trial, pushing the humans further in an attempt to understand the depths of their unexpected resilience. This time, the test involved moving weighted crates across a winding obstacle course. Each crate was reinforced with an alien alloy, its weight daunting even for the most experienced recruits. The instructors expected the humans to struggle. These weights were calibrated for high-gravity world denizens, not those used to Earth's milder gravitational pull. As the exercise commenced, the alien recruits moved with practiced ease, used to handling such weights under intense gravitational pressures. The humans, however, found themselves nearly buckling under the first attempt. Each crate felt like lifting an immovable wall, the strain coursing through their muscles in waves of searing resistance. They gritted their teeth, bodies trembling as they pushed forward, feeling each step as though it might be their last. One of the instructors, a tall, blue-skinned telepath named Saren, observed with a critical eye. She had trained recruits across star systems, had watched beings from high-gravity planets accomplish feats of strength that Earth soldiers could scarcely imagine. But as she watched the humans strain under the weight, struggling to adapt, she sensed something else, a fierce, unbreakable resolve in their minds, a drive that bordered on stubbornness. As one of the recruits, Private Liam, faltered under the crate's weight, his face twisted in determination, Saren decided to observe him more closely. Probing the surface of his thoughts, what she sensed shocked her. Liam's mind was not filled with desperation or fear. Instead, his thoughts cycled through memories of rigorous training, grueling workouts, and the support of his fellow soldiers. Each memory strengthened his resolve, his thoughts grounding him like an anchor amid the strain. She realized then that the humans drew strength not just from their bodies, but from an inner resilience shaped by years of struggle, discipline, and loyalty to one another. As he continued, another human recruit, Sergeant Elena, stepped up beside him, her expression resolute. Without hesitation, she placed a hand on the opposite end of the crate, sharing the weight. Together, they lifted it, their steps synchronizing as they advanced through the course. Other humans followed suit, working together to conquer the weight with an almost instinctive unity. The alien recruits watched in stunned silence, witnessing a display of teamwork that was as alien to them as humanity's endurance. One of the younger alien recruits approached Captain Mira, his gaze filled with a mixture of awe and curiosity. "How do you do it?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "The weight should be crushing. Yet you keep moving." Captain Mira looked down at him, her face etched with a tired but genuine smile. "Back home, we train ourselves to handle what seems impossible. Earth has its own challenges: weather, terrain, even gravity. It might not be the same as here, but we're used to carrying a weight that goes beyond the physical." The young recruit nodded, trying to process the idea. For species raised on high-gravity worlds, the idea of internal strength was almost incomprehensible. Strength, to them, was a matter of biology, something that was innate, unchangeable. But humans, it seemed, had crafted their strength from the inside out, a fusion of physical training and unyielding will. As the humans completed the course, their faces glistening with sweat, their breathing ragged, the alien instructors exchanged glances of genuine admiration. They had never seen recruits with such a fierce will, a drive that propelled them beyond their physical limits. Earth soldiers, it seemed, possessed a resilience that defied every expectation, their endurance rooted in a mindset that the Peace Corps had never encountered. The final exercise involved lifting and moving a series of massive slabs, each one heavier than the last. This test was designed to identify weaknesses, to separate those who could endure from those who would ultimately falter. The alien recruits moved forward first, their movements precise and calculated as they adjusted to the weight. Some struggled, others adapted, each one determined to prove their worth. When the humans' turn came, they approached the slabs with steady resolve. Captain Mira led her team, her face etched with concentration, her gaze steady. She knew that this test would push them to their limits, that failure was a distinct possibility, but she also knew that her team was capable of more than anyone had anticipated. As Mira approached the first slab, she squared her shoulders, took a deep breath, and lifted, the weight pressed down on her. Her muscles straining as she forced herself forward, step by step. She moved, feeling the eyes of her team on her, each one drawing strength from her example. When she reached the end of the course, she set the slab down, her chest heaving, her face flushed with exhaustion but filled with pride. The rest of the team followed suit, each one stepping up to the challenge, each one pushing themselves to the limit. As the alien instructors watched, they saw not just strength, but a level of commitment that went beyond physical endurance. The humans weren't just lifting weights. They were proving their worth, demonstrating a strength that came from within. As the last human set his slab down, the alien instructors erupted in applause, a rare display of admiration and respect. The humans had not only completed the test, they had done so with a level of resilience that defied explanation. The Peace Corps commanders, who had initially viewed humanity as a curiosity, now saw them as something more, a force to be reckoned with, a species whose strength was both physical and mental, a blend of endurance and willpower that set them apart. That night, as the humans rested in their barracks, word of their achievements spread throughout the Peace Corps. Recruits from other worlds began to seek them out, hoping to learn from them, to understand the source of their resilience. And as the humans shared their stories, they began to realize that their journey was only beginning. Earth soldiers, once underestimated, had proven that they were more than capable of standing shoulder to shoulder with the galaxy's finest. For the first time in the history of the Peace Corps, humanity was not seen as a species to be trained, but as a force to be admired, a testament to the power of resilience, of strength forged in the crucible of gravity and endurance. The final test awaited Earth's recruits, a simulated combat scenario in the Fralum Highlands, notorious for its extreme gravitational surges. Here, the planet's gravitational pull intensified to nearly 3 times that of Earth, creating an environment that even seasoned high-gravity soldiers found brutal. The Peace Corps commanders had designed this exercise as a last filter, a grueling ordeal meant to push every recruit past their physical and mental limits. Only those with exceptional endurance and adaptability would pass. For the human soldiers, this would be the ultimate test of their resilience. The mission was straightforward but formidable. Each team would carry an additional 50 kilograms of equipment, maneuver through a gauntlet of obstacles, evade aerial drones programmed for high-speed pursuit, and ultimately reach a distant extraction point at the peak of the mountainous terrain. Completing this test under standard gravity was challenging enough, but under the crushing force of Fralum's intensified gravity fields, the task was deemed nearly impossible. As they prepared, the humans shared a solemn silence, each soldier mentally fortifying themselves for the ordeal to come. Captain Mira, their unwavering leader, stood at the front of the formation, her gaze fixed on the mountainous horizon. She turned to her team, her voice calm and steady. "This will be the hardest thing we've ever done," she said, her voice carrying a gravity of its own. "The weight, the terrain, the drones, it's going to test every ounce of strength we have. But remember, we didn't come this far to give up. Trust in each other. Draw strength from each other. We've trained for this, not just with our bodies, but with our minds." The others nodded, faces set in determined expressions. Each soldier felt the weight of their mission pressing down on them. But it was not just the physical load. They understood that this was more than a test, it was their chance to prove, once and for all, that Earth soldiers were worthy of respect in the galaxy. They adjusted their packs, double-checked their gear, and awaited the signal. The command was given, and the Earth soldiers surged forward, each step an exercise in control and grit. The intensified gravity pulled at them, threatening to slow them down, to wear them out before they could even reach the first obstacle. Their boots sank into the rocky terrain, every step a laborious effort, each breath feeling heavy and strained. Yet they pressed on, their bodies adapting with each movement, their minds pushing through the discomfort. The first obstacle was a series of steep, jagged rocks that required precision and balance. Mira led the way, her movements slow and deliberate as she navigated the rocky ascent. Behind her, Liam, Elena, and the others followed, each one matching her pace, each one focusing on the rhythm of their steps. The rock shifted underfoot, and several times, a soldier stumbled, only to be steadied by a teammate. They moved as a unit, drawing strength from each other, their camaraderie acting as an invisible tether that held them together. As they reached the top of the rocky incline, the drone swarm descended, their metallic bodies gleaming under Fralem's harsh sunlight. The drones, programmed for agility and precision, swooped down, launching simulated projectiles that detonated with small but powerful concussive bursts. The humans scattered, ducking behind rocks and dodging the onslaught with practiced movements. Mira motioned for her team to regroup, her voice low but firm. Stay low. Move quickly. These drones aren't here to just test our endurance, they're testing our coordination. Stick together and cover each other. Liam, the strongest of the group, positioned himself at the rear, his body bracing against the gravity as he shielded his teammates from incoming fire. Elena, nimble and quick, darted forward, her movements fluid as she assessed the drone's attack patterns, signaling for openings where the team could advance. They moved in sync, their actions coordinated without words, each soldier instinctively anticipating the other's needs. The drones pressed harder, intensifying their assault as the team moved across the open terrain. The alien instructors watching from afar murmured in astonishment. They had never seen a team navigate Fralem's challenges with such cohesion. The humans' every movement was a testament to their training and resilience. While most recruits faced the drones with individual tactics, the humans moved as a single entity, their survival driven not just by individual strength, but by the strength of their unity. The final stretch loomed ahead, a steep incline leading to the extraction point. It was the most treacherous part of the course, a narrow path that wound its way up the mountain, exposed to the full force of the gravitational field. As the team approached, Mira turned to her soldiers, her gaze fierce. "This is it," she said, her voice steady despite the fatigue evident in her eyes. "The hardest part, but we didn't come this far to fall now. Keep your eyes forward. Keep pushing. No matter how heavy it gets, we keep going." The others nodded, their faces etched with exhaustion but fueled by an unbreakable determination. They began the ascent, each step feeling like lifting a mountain. The weight of the gravity pressed down on them with relentless force, their muscles screaming in protest, their lungs burning with each labored breath. But they pressed on, their eyes fixed on the summit, each step a triumph over the force that sought to break them. Halfway up, Elena stumbled, her body collapsing under the strain. Liam reached back, gripping her arm, his face set in a grim expression as he helped her to her feet. "We're almost there," he murmured, his voice filled with a quiet resolve. "We're not leaving anyone behind." Together, they continued, each soldier driven by the strength of the others, each step a testament to their will to survive. As they neared the summit, the alien instructors could barely believe what they were witnessing. Earth soldiers, who had been expected to falter, had defied every expectation, their resilience a display of strength that transcended physical limits. When they finally reached the extraction point, the humans collapsed to the ground, their bodies spent, their faces etched with exhaustion. Yet, in their eyes was a glimmer of triumph.